November 3rd, 2023, Makumbaya village, a community in collective mourning. This small town in the outlying parts of the West Coast region was hit by sudden tragedy as 6 young men from the village died en route to Europe via the Mediterranean. 3 others were also missing without trace amid a blackout of news about their whereabouts. The deceased were among dozens of migrants on board a dugout wooden boat believed to have left the Gambia on October 22nd. When news of the tragedy at sea filtered down, the people of this close-knit settlement were deeply saddened. Ibu Tamba is the village youth leader and the first person to receive the devastating news. Browsing through his phone, Ibu showed pictures of all the victims in their 20s who lost their lives. One of them happens to be his cousin. He told me this is the darkest day in the history of the village.
It has been a difficult moment since we got the news. Most of them, what we heard is they heard of this boat which came to the riverside here in Makumbaya and Bafuloto, between Makumbaya and Bafuloto. When they heard the news of this boat, some of them went and then jumped in and then took this journey.
Ibu's sister Adama Koli lost her eldest son. The pain, she said, is extremely difficult to bear. But as a believer, it was destined. Her first bundle of joy left without saying goodbye and never returned.
Right now, I'm very brief. Just one day we sit down, he was touching my body, but I feel somehow. I said, I don't know, my son, why is he touching me? So my sister came, she said, you are sitting down. Where's your son? I said, no, we sit down here yesterday. He said, no, go and find out, because it's very painful for everyone. You have your own child, grow up for this age, you did not see him, because it's only God who can give you the courage and the knowledge you have patient.
It is the same for this man, whose junior brother was among the dead.
He did not inform us. They went to a program only to hear that he joined the boat to Europe.
The boat disaster has united the people of Makumbaya in grief. Community elders warn against the perilous journey, urging family heads to desist from sponsoring their kids to embark on the risky route. Less than 2 kilometers away is Bafuloto village, where 8 people lost their lives in the same boat tragedy. I was led to the riverside where the Europe-bound migrants embark on the perilous journey. I am standing at the riverside in Bafuloto, and it is from this point that the boat carrying the migrants is said to have sailed off some 2 weeks ago, carrying dozens of youths destined for Europe. But most of them ended up losing their lives on the way. But this has raised a lot of questions to be answered. Keba Sidi, the Bafuloto Village Development Committee chairman, is struggling to come to terms with the loss of his nephew, who is among the victims.
I am heartbroken because I lost a nephew who is under my care. It is a big loss for the community.
It is a painful period of trauma for the 2 neighboring villages as they come to tragic terms with the loss of 14 lives. They easily leave the shores of the country without trace. In the months of September and October alone, several migrant boats carrying hundreds of people, among them women and children, left the Gambia through the country's waters. Driving back from the communities of Makumbaya and Bafuloto, one cannot hold but feel their pain of losing loved ones in such tragic circumstances. But it has been the same in several other communities. This is a list we obtained from authorities in Mauritania containing the names of some migrants or would-be migrants who were rescued after their boat made an emergency landing off the coast of Nouakchott. And as you can see, the address is having the names of several communities, several villages and towns across the length and breadth of the country, showing the rising number of youths embarking on the risky journey. The Gambia faces an irregular migration crisis in a mountain trend, drawing thousands of mainly youths on the perilous journey.
The government should take their responsibility, and for the youths, let us know that we can make it in this country. It depends on how you want it, but we can make it.
We urge the government to empower the youth to cope this backway.
Government recognizes the problem and is moving to implement strategies to curb it. President Barrow has promised to deter irregular migration through job creation, focusing on providing young people with incentives and skills training to find gainful employment at the home front.
We have to make sure we provide the facilities at home. That's why we established this institution. And who is this institution going to benefit? It's the youth. 65% of this country are youths. That's what we are trying to do, to train our people here, make them professionals. When you build their capacity, you empower them.
The recent calamity also triggered action with the launch of coastal patrols by the Gambia Immigration Department to stop migrant boats and scale up efforts in the fight against the activity. But anti-migration campaigners want an all-out offensive on the illegal activity, including a crackdown on supposedly untouchable trafficking rings who make colossal sums of money and working freely.
Over the last couple of months, 30 agents were arrested, and after investigation, at least 6 of them were put before the courts. Like I said, currently as we speak, we do not have a holistic, legislation that deals with the issue of smuggling of migrants. But notwithstanding, after our investigations, the investigation can always show us the kind of law that we can use to address the situation.
Reports show about 40,000 Gambians have entered Europe between 2014 and 2019, and the number continues to rise over the years. This is a distorted voice of Demba, not his real name to hide his identity. Twice he had unsuccessfully attempted the backway, including as recently as October this year, when he paid $50,000 to a trafficking agent. And 3 days into their journey, their boat, which sailed up from the coastal village of Kartong, was intercepted by Mauritanian coast guards and were returned home. Unless meaningful actions are taken, the likes of Demba might jump on board the next available wooden boat as the cycle of death, human loss, and youth attrition continues. Makumbaya and Jallow, GRTS News.